Chapter 1. The room was almost empty when I arrived. Emma sat alone at a flour-dusted table in the far corner. She was hunched over, shoulders drawn tight, twisting her fingers anxiously. Her apron, the one she'd worn so proudly this morning, was nowhere in sight. The silence felt wrong, unsettling. Usually, Emma would run to me, full of stories and smiles. Today, she didn't even look up. I moved carefully toward her, footsteps echoing softly. "Hey Em, ready to go?" I asked gently. She flinched slightly, quickly wiping at her eyes. When she looked up, her eyes were red-rimmed. She forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Hi Dad," she mumbled. I'm fine. Let's go." She stood slowly, avoiding my gaze. A smear of chocolate stained her shirt, a stain her apron should have protected. I wondered immediately why she wasn't wearing it. Emma loved that apron, white with pink cupcakes, a gift from her mom. "You sure everything's okay? How was baking class?" She shrugged, eyes fixed on the floor. "It was okay," she replied softly, offering nothing more. I noticed her hands trembling slightly. Something was definitely wrong. Just then, Lisa Harding approached, heels clicking briskly. "Hi David. Thanks for picking Emma up late. We were just cleaning up. Hope she had fun." Emma stiffened at Lisa's voice. I gently placed a reassuring hand on her back. "Did you guys bake something tasty?" I asked casually. Lisa laughed lightly. "Oh, lots of sugar, lots of mess. You know how kids are." Emma stayed silent, inching closer to me. Her discomfort was clear. My eyes again went to the missing apron. "Emma had a special apron she brought," I said carefully, "but I don't see it. Did it get misplaced?" Emma shot Lisa a panicked glance. Lisa paused briefly, then laughed dismissively. "Oh, that apron? Yes, it got a little dirty decorating cupcakes," Lisa said lightly. "I took it aside, might even need a wash. Don't worry about it." "Just an apron," she said. My jaw tightened, but I nodded politely. "All right, thanks." In the car, silence lingered heavily. Emma stared out the window, clutching her backpack. "Em," I said gently, "you sure you don't want to talk? You seem upset." She stiffened again. "It's nothing, Dad. I'm okay," she said too quickly, her voice brittle. "It didn't look like nothing," I pressed gently. "You can tell me. Did someone hurt your feelings?" She looked at me briefly, tears in her eyes. "It was stupid, okay? I messed up the recipe. I spilled stuff everywhere. Everyone laughed. Even Ms. Harding thought it was funny. So, I took off the apron." Her voice trailed off, ashamed. My heart tightened. I squeezed her hand softly at the stop sign. "Oh, Em. I'm sorry that happened." "It's fine," she whispered, but her voice cracked slightly. We drove home in heavy silence. In our driveway, Emma was quick to escape to her room. Alone in the dim kitchen, unease grew inside me. Emma's embarrassment seemed deeper than a simple mistake. Lisa's dismissive laugh echoed in my thoughts. My phone felt cold in my hand. I scrolled until I found Lisa Harding's contact, hesitating only a moment before pressing call. As the line rang, I glanced upward, picturing Emma curled upstairs, hurt and embarrassed. I didn't know exactly what had happened, but I couldn't ignore this feeling. Whatever this was, it was far from over. Chapter 2. Emma stayed upstairs most of the evening. I tried giving her space, but every passing hour deepened my unease. Eventually, I couldn't take it any longer and softly knocked on her door. "Emma? Mind if I come in?" There was a pause, then a quiet, "Sure, Dad." I entered to find her curled up in bed, staring at her phone without really seeing it. She looked so small, wrapped in a blanket, eyes tired and swollen. I sat at the edge of her bed, choosing my words carefully. "You know, Em, Sometimes people say things without realizing how much it hurts. If something more happened today, something else you're upset about, you can tell me. She hesitated, glancing away before whispering, I don't want you to get mad. My chest tightened, but I kept my voice calm. I won't get mad. I just want to understand. Emma took a shaky breath, finally meeting my eyes. Ms. Harding, she wasn't just laughing because I spilled stuff. She said my apron was childish. She held it up and asked everyone if it looked like it belonged to a little kid. My stomach sank as she continued, voice trembling. Everyone laughed. I felt so stupid. I couldn't stop shaking. That's why I took it off. I just couldn't look at it anymore. The hurt in her eyes broke my heart. This wasn't just embarrassment, it was humiliation, deliberately inflicted. Anger simmered quietly beneath my calm exterior. Oh, Em, I said softly, reaching out to gently touch her shoulder. You didn't deserve that. Your apron means something special to you. And I promise, there's nothing childish about caring deeply about something. She managed a weak smile, eyes glistening with fresh tears. I know. It's just, she made me feel small. Everyone saw. Emma, I said firmly, but gently, people who hurt others to make themselves feel bigger aren't worth your energy. This says far more about Ms. Harding than it does about you. Emma nodded slightly, absorbing my words, but the shadow on her face didn't fully lift. As I left her room a few moments later, closing the door quietly behind me, determination solidified within me. This wasn't a simple misunderstanding, it was cruelty. Lisa Harding had crossed a line, targeting Emma for her own amusement. In the quiet hallway, I took a deep breath, knowing exactly what I had to do next. Chapter 3. The following morning, I arrived early at the community center, determined but calm. Lisa Harding stood near the kitchen counter, busy organizing supplies for another event. Her smile was bright as she saw me approach, though it quickly faded as she noted the seriousness on my face. David, good morning, she said, voice carefully neutral. Is there something I can help you with? Yes, I said evenly, keeping my tone polite but firm. It's about yesterday. Emma was pretty upset. Lisa sighed dramatically, setting down a container and folding her arms. David, you know kids can be overly sensitive. I didn't mean anything by it. Emma isn't overly sensitive, I replied steadily. She's thoughtful, kind, and talented. But what happened yesterday, it wasn't right. Lisa rolled her eyes slightly, exasperated. Honestly, it was a harmless joke. Maybe she needs thicker skin. My pulse quickened, but I stayed composed. Humiliating a child isn't a joke, Lisa. Emma trusted you. All these kids trust you. Lisa's expression tightened, irritation flashing in her eyes. David, it's really not that big of a deal. Can we move on? I held her gaze, my voice calm but unwavering. I'm afraid it is a big deal, Lisa. You made my daughter feel small and insignificant. And you clearly don't understand why that's unacceptable. Also, I'd appreciate it if you could return Emma's apron. It means a lot to her. She scoffed lightly, dismissing my words with a wave of her hand. I'm sorry Emma got upset, but honestly, you're overreacting. And the apron? Fine, I'll find it and return it. I felt my jaw tighten, anger simmering beneath the surface. But I wouldn't let her bait me. Instead, I simply nodded, understanding clearly that she would never truly acknowledge her actions. All right, Lisa. If that's how you feel, I said quietly, turning to leave. Just remember, you had an opportunity to make this right. Her expression faltered slightly as I walked away, the echo of her dismissive laughter replaying clearly in my mind. Outside, I inhaled deeply, clarity settling within me. Lisa had made her choice. Now I would make mine. Chapter 4. Over the next few days, I discreetly reached out to other parents from Emma's baking class. At first, conversations were casual, just checking in, seeing how their children had enjoyed the event. But soon, a troubling pattern emerged. Megan, the mother of Emma's friend Sophie, was the first to open up. Honestly, David, she confessed quietly over coffee, Lisa made a few comments that made Sophie feel awful too. Sophie doesn't even want to go back. I kept my tone calm, though anger churned inside me. What kind of comments? She said Sophie's cookies looked like something a toddler would make, Megan explained, shaking her head. She laughed it off, but it really hurt Sophie. She hasn't stopped mentioning it. Another parent, Tom, shared a similar story. My son Alex came home really upset one day, he said, voice tight. Lisa teased him about his apron too, said it was something only his grandmother would wear. He tried to laugh along, but I could see it bothered him deeply. Each conversation painted a clearer picture. Lisa had a troubling habit of belittling kids, disguising cruelty as humor. I documented everything carefully, notes piling up as parents shared their children's hurtful experiences. By the end of the week, my unease had turned to determination. Armed with these stories and support from other parents, I knew I had enough to challenge Lisa's behavior publicly. It wasn't just about Emma anymore, it was about protecting every child from feeling worthless or embarrassed. The weight of responsibility settled firmly on my shoulders. I wasn't going to let Lisa hurt another child. Not if I could help it. Chapter 5. Determined to take action, I knew direct confrontation alone wasn't enough. Lisa had made it clear she wouldn't acknowledge the damage she'd caused. I needed another approach, something stronger, more impactful. Late that evening, sitting alone in my home office, I picked up the phone and dialed a familiar number. It rang a few times before a warm voice answered. David. It's been too long. How are you? Hey, Mike, I said, relieved to hear the voice of my longtime friend, Mike Reynolds, a respected local influencer known for championing community issues. I could be better. Actually, I need your help. Mike's tone shifted immediately, becoming serious and attentive. Sure thing. What's going on? Taking a deep breath, I explained everything, the humiliation Emma endured, the dismissive response from Lisa, and the countless similar stories from other families. Mike listened patiently, absorbing every word. When I finished, Mike's voice was steady and firm. This sounds like something that needs to be addressed publicly. No child should ever be treated this way, especially by someone trusted in the community. I agree, I replied, feeling a surge of relief at Mike's understanding. What can we do? Mike paused thoughtfully. Let me put something together. I'll prepare a segment highlighting these experiences, exposing Lisa's behavior. Once the community hears these stories, they'll see what's really been going on. Gratitude flooded through me. Thanks, Mike. This means a lot. Don't thank me yet, Mike said firmly. Let's make sure Lisa never makes another child feel this way again. Ending the call, a sense of purpose settled deeply within me. The quiet of the house around me felt charged with anticipation. Finally, we were taking a stand. Chapter 6. The story broke 3 days later. Mike posted a short but powerful video to his social media platforms, a montage of anonymous parent interviews, blurred out screenshots of group messages, and a voiceover explaining exactly what had been happening behind the scenes at Lisa Harding's events. He didn't name her directly, not yet. But anyone involved in the community knew exactly who he was talking about. The reaction was instant. Comments flooded in. Parents tagged each other. Former volunteers chimed in. People began sharing their own stories. Same thing happened to my daughter. Lisa mocked my son for stuttering, said it was adorable in front of the group. She said my daughter's outfit looked farm fresh. I thought I was the only one. The weight of it all came down fast. Emma was sitting at the kitchen table when she saw it. I watched her reaction carefully as she scrolled through the comments. Her eyes widened, then softened. For the first time in days, she looked lighter. They're talking about her, she said quietly. About what she did. I nodded. You're not alone, Em. You never were. She looked at me, tears gathering but not falling. I thought maybe I was overreacting. That I was just being weak. I shook my head. Feeling hurt doesn't make you weak. Speaking up makes you brave. Later that evening, Mike called me again. Local paper just reached out, he said. They want to do a follow-up. This thing's gaining traction. Good, I said simply. Let's keep it going. Because now it wasn't just about Emma. It was about every child Lisa had laughed at, brushed off, or made to feel small. And this time, the community was finally listening. Chapter 7. By the end of the week, Lisa Harding's name was trending locally. The community may not have needed her name in Mike's video, but now they had it. It was in the comment sections. On parent message boards. Whispered during pickup and spoken aloud in PTA meetings. Some defended her. But most didn't. The charity she worked closely with issued a brief statement the following Monday: "We take all concerns seriously and are reviewing our volunteer partnerships." Which was corporate speak for, "We're distancing ourselves as fast as we can." Emma came home with a flyer in her backpack that day. A new flyer. Same baking club. Same day and time. But Lisa's name had been removed from the instructor line. Emma stared at it, uncertain. "You don't have to go back," I said gently. She nodded. "I know. But I kind of want to." I raised an eyebrow. To show her she didn't break me. To show the others it's okay to come back. There was resolve in her voice I hadn't heard before. A quiet strength. That evening, I received a message request on social media from someone I didn't know. The profile picture was a stock image. No posts. Just one message. "She's done this for years. To kids. To volunteers. Even to staff at the center. Thank you for exposing her. We weren't allowed to speak before. Now we can." I stared at the message for a long time. Lisa's fall wasn't just about Emma. It was about years of quiet harm, now finally dragged into the light. And the more the truth came out, the more it became clear. This wasn't just justice. It was liberation. Chapter 8. The following Saturday, Emma returned to the community center. She wore her cupcake apron. It had been found, folded oddly, almost shoved to the back of a supply drawer, still stained with dried frosting. One of the other parents had quietly handed it back to us, eyes a little too wide, voice a little too low. Like they were afraid of being seen. But it was back. And Emma wore it without flinching. I walked her to the door but let her go in alone. She didn't look back. Inside, new volunteers ran the baking club. 2 of the other kids waved her over. One smiled. Another gave her a thumbs up. The room wasn't tense. It was lighter. A little cautious. But better. From the hallway, I caught sight of her tying the apron strings. Straightening the fabric. Holding her head a little higher. She didn't need to say a word. That apron was never just fabric. It was confidence. Identity. Memory. And reclaiming it meant more than any apology Lisa Harding could ever give. Later that day, I received a voicemail. It was from Lisa. Her voice was clipped, formal. "David, I just wanted to inform you that I've stepped down from all my volunteer positions. There's been enough damage. I hope your daughter is satisfied." She didn't apologize. She didn't even say Emma's name. I deleted the message without replying. Because Emma didn't need her satisfaction handed to her by Lisa Harding. She had already taken it back herself. Chapter 9. Word continued to spread. Lisa's absence from events was noted, and not with sympathy. Parents stopped tiptoeing around the topic. At the next PTA meeting, someone even asked, out loud, how the group could ensure that community leaders were chosen for their character, not just their availability or status. I didn't speak. I didn't need to. Enough voices had risen. Emma's story had started a ripple. Now, it was a wave. I watched from the back of the room as others spoke up, One father talked about his son being mocked for needing reading assistance. A mother described how Lisa used to joke about her daughter's accent. People didn't whisper anymore. They owned their stories. After the meeting, a woman I didn't recognize approached me in the hallway. "Your daughter?" she asked gently. I nodded. "She's braver than most adults I know." I thanked her, though the words caught in my throat. At home that night, Emma was at the kitchen table again, this time sketching out recipe ideas in a notebook. She didn't look up when I walked in. "I'm thinking about submitting something to the youth baking showcase," she said casually, as if this had always been the plan. I smiled. "What are you thinking?" "Strawberry cupcakes," she replied, flipping the notebook toward me. "With lemon buttercream." The sketch of a cupcake wore a familiar design, white paper liner with tiny pink cupcakes along the edge. I looked at it for a long moment. She hadn't just reclaimed the apron. She was building something new with it. Chapter 10. The day of the showcase arrived with a clear sky and just the faintest scent of spring in the air. Emma stood in our kitchen at sunrise, tying her apron with calm hands and focused eyes. She looked taller somehow, not just physically, but in presence. Like she'd stepped into a new version of herself, quietly and on purpose. I drove her to the community center again, the same place where this all began. Only now, it felt different. The tension was gone. People smiled at her when she walked in. Volunteers greeted her by name. And when she laid out her cupcakes on the table, she did it without hesitation. They were perfect. 12 strawberry cupcakes with delicate lemon buttercream, piped in careful spirals. Each one nestled in a liner printed with tiny pink cupcakes. I watched as other kids walked over to compliment her. Some asked how she made the filling. A few took photos. There was no trace of fear in her body language. No shame. Just pride. Near the end of the event, a local food blogger, one of the showcase judges, paused at Emma's table. She took a bite, closed her eyes briefly, then smiled. "This is exceptional," she said. "Is this your first entry?" Emma nodded, cheeks slightly pink. "Yes." "Well, I hope it won't be your last." That night, back at home, Emma placed the little participant ribbon in her room. She didn't win first place. She didn't need to. Because this wasn't about trophies. It never was. It was about being seen. And she had been, fully, proudly, and without apology. Epilogue. Some people think revenge has to be loud. But sometimes, it looks like a quiet girl in a cupcake apron, standing tall in the room that once made her feel small. Lisa Harding faded from our town spotlight. She never faced formal consequences, no lawsuits, no public apologies. Just a silence that grew louder every time her name came up and no one wanted to speak for her. Emma didn't need her to fall. She just needed to rise. And she did. Not with anger. Not with shame. But with confidence, a steady hand, and 12 perfect cupcakes.
Thanks so much for watching. If you love a good revenge story, or if you've ever dreamed of getting the last word without saying much at all, you're in the right place. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new savage ending. Because around here, karma always hits different.